guys, my name is Girish Bali, your host for today for Back to Basics. Another week. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode. I'm sure I did. I had so much fun from all the beginnings and now, and keep on commenting, good or bad. It will make my show stronger day by day, week by week. If you have any comments or concerns, just contact me and I'll email you back whatever I can. So today's show we have about coffee. Why do we need coffee? I think it's part of our DNA that we need coffee each and every day, maybe during the day, during the afternoon, or the evening, depending what it is, but mostly during the mornings. So this company that I contacted, I think it's a little weird name. I'm gonna say Go Coffee, but I think it's pronounced differently. But we will talk to the owner today, and we'll talk to the person today. His name is Vincent Meyer, and then we will go to the basics of Go Coffee. So Vincent, how are you today? And thank you for coming on my show.
Yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
The name of the company is Goffee. Our idea was like to say coffee with a G,
Mm.
but you're right. The name strike a lot of people out, and a lot of people end up calling us Go Coffee. So
Yeah.
at one point we might end up changing our name.
It's a fantastic name because you can't say go and then you say coffee and then it's like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So that name came how? Is like a toffee a go, or how did that
You
happen?
know, so the principle was for us to go and create a delivery experience for coffee.
Yeah.
And in my experience, nothing says more than on movements or deliveries than just the word go.
Yeah.
We wanted to put something around, the activity, the movement. So go was it's kind of like a term that worked well. And then we were trying to find something simple with coffee. So we came in and put it together. And then the best feedback we had, 3 months after finally finding the name, which is usually a big challenge for every new company,
Mm-hmm.
is we had a friend from Boston who was like, what is your company name again? Is it like Goffee?
Mm.
Like, no, it's Goffee, like a coffee with a G. It's like, no, it's Go Coffee or coffee with a go, but Goffee is going to be very difficult. So
Mm.
we stayed with Goffee for now, but we like Go Coffee as well.
Yeah, it's a brilliant name. It's amazing name, Vincent. So first thing is first, before I go anywhere further, what what does back to basic mean to you from the business point and personal, and it could be the same answer.
Yeah. Oh, I think this situation the past year from a business perspective is a perfect example of your show of back to basics. We started our business as a B2B experience. We were delivering coffee to corporations and companies. Our clients were the office managers. We were selling it as a subscriptions. We scaled our business to close to $1 million in revenue
Mm-hmm.
in that we were planning for 2020. And March happened, the pandemic happened, all the office closed, and we went back to zero.
Mm-hmm.
So from a business experience, you can't have more than back to basics, going back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm.
I think from a personal, back to basics mean that it's your life is a endless restart. And every time you think you have something, completely figured out, and you're on a path, you realize that you actually have to restart that cycle again.
Yeah.
So it's a mantra that is very important to me.
Yeah, so the mantra of this show for me is everything just goes, everything in life goes back to basics, and that's what we did, and that's
Yep.
what we're trying to do, and try to make aware to people. So Vincent, regarding, I'm gonna say Go Coffee if you don't mind. So I'm gonna stick with that. So why Go Coffee? Where did this come from, and how did this whole thing started?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a combinations. So I used to live on the West Coast and then moved to New York. I was a big fan of a brand of coffee back in the day in the West Coast, and I asked the owner if he would be considered to open his presence in the East Coast, and he was not open to it. But he told me, "Look, I can sell you the beans, and I'll teach you how to make, our own coffee at home." And so one, I realized that making coffee is primarily about the beans and the quality of the taste. Second thing was I worked in a lot of tech startups, and I realized that my companies were spending a lot of money with coffee machines that always made bad coffee. I'm
Mm.
sure we all have worked in an office where the coffee solution was bad, and so we end up spending a lot of time going to the coffee shop around. And then three, spending 3-4 years in New York, I became a good New Yorker, I should say, and started to hate waiting in line, and realized that I was going every day to the same coffee shop, and every solution they would put in front of me would still make me wait for my same order day after day. So kind of like all this combination made me realize it might be something that could, be done. And we started exploring the different ways or the challenges of doing coffee deliveries, and we found two. One was the price. You can't spend an extra $4-5 to get a coffee delivered when you already paid $4 for your latte. And two was if you try to deliver the coffee inside one of those to-go cups, your coffee is going to come cold. So we solved the first one by developing our own cups. Those tiny little cups over there that keep the drinks nice and hot for about 3 or 4 hours. And two, on the price, that's why we started with the offices. We said, look, you're only spending money buying or setting a coffee machine in your office, but your employees don't use it. So why not reuse that budget and doing a subscription with us, and we'll come every day and deliver your employees their favorite coffee.
So how does the pricing thing work? Is it pay as you go, or is it just a monthly thing or a quarterly thing, or how does that work?
So we can talk about the past and then back to basics.
Yes.
What we just had to do.
Yeah.
But in the past, we were working directly with companies, and they were paying a monthly subscription. Let's say you had 50 employees in your office, you would pay us a little less than $2,000 a month, and every day, every employee would get their favorite cups delivered. The employee would have to pay nothing. It was a nice perks. Obviously, COVID happened, office shut down. We pivoted during the summer and started delivering coffee to luxury buildings in New York. And that becomes now an amenity. If you live in one of those nice towers, you can now subscribe to our service. And every day you can get your coffee delivered, but this time is a pay as you go. Our prices are in line with what you would pay from a coffee shop. So like a latte is probably between $4.50, $4.90, depending on what type of milk you use. But you have the convenience of getting that coffee delivered to you in your lobby versus you having to go outside and getting the coffee from different coffee shops.
So besides waiting in line, is it really a big hassle just to get a coffee? Because honestly speaking, I can just go to my kitchen or go to my my office kitchen and just pick it up from there. Even though that it could be $1 coffee or it could be $1 creamer, but then why go coffee? I'm still amazed by this whole concept, because that's yeah. So go ahead.
Completely. I mean, I would start not necessarily taking us as an example, but you look at the business of a Starbucks or a Dunkin', you can obviously make the same coffee probably from home. That said, those companies have been very successful because it's touch about your routine. You want something a little bit more than what you can do from a machine at home. I have nothing against Keurig machine or simple coffee, but the movement of specialty coffee, primarily espresso based, latte, cappuccino. Although there is machine you could who can help you do it from home, you probably won't get the same type of drink that you're getting from a barista from one of those coffee shops. So that's kind of like the first statement, is like we're targeting people who actually do enjoy those type of drinks. If you're just trying to replace your coffee maker, we're probably not the solution for you. And then in terms of hassle, I think it's a little bit more than that. Is people developed a specific taste for their coffee. I always compare it kind of like wine. You can always find cheaper wine and very easy wine from your kitchen cabinet. But if you develop a very specific taste for it, when that taste comes to missing, it's missing in your day. And I think if people develop a certain habit of getting a nice latte from a specific brand that they were usually getting on their way to work, with the pandemic, now they don't have this opportunity.
Right.
And those coffee shops probably don't exist where they live. You're probably a perfect example. You used to commute in the city, and now that you're staying in your home or in your home area, you might not have the same restaurants, the same coffee shops that you
That
had access to.
that's right.
So that's what we're trying to do is we partner with all those coffee shops, with all those coffee brands, so we can reach their customers and help them get the coffee that they like.
So, guys, listeners, you have to understand before this whole COVID started and this whole pandemic started, his average was roughly 1,000 cups, 1,012 ounce cups, and that's coffee, latte, and cappuccinos. Just think of that times by how many more he could have done. But then this COVID happened, so I think the numbers are going to be less. But I think his if I read on his website, I think his whole pivot changed in 2021. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'll talk to him about it. But it seems like he'll be directing his focus on cities, yes, but even residentials too. So Vin, can you tell me about the residential? That does not mean that you're going to come to my house.
No,
So
no,
yeah,
not yet.
exactly, exactly.
Yes. Yeah, the idea is, for a delivery business to succeed, in our opinion,
Hmm.
you need to have a certain level of concentration of people. So what we're looking at is we're looking into cities that have high density of residential.
Hmm.
And so we're looking into buildings that have anything between 100 to 800 units. And this is where we're going to make our deliveries. The way it works is we actually partnered with the owner of the building or the management company, and we want to offer our coffee delivery service as an amenity of the building. Just like you have a gym, just like you have a pool, just like you might have some business centers, you'll now be able to get a coffee delivery.
Hmm.
And then as a tenant, you can decide to take advantage of that amenities every day, once every week, once every blue moon, you decide. But the interest for us is it creates a delivery route, if I may say. In a way, I look a lot of our business like airlines from time to time and say, like, we know that every day we'll have to come 3 times in this building at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., and 9 a.m. And tenants will decide to go and order a coffee on that delivery. And so days we'll have 50 deliveries at 8 a.m. and 100 at 9 a.m. And the next day we'll have the opposite.
So Vincent, this is only in the cities, not in the suburban area, correct?
For now, yes, that's correct. We're focusing right now in Manhattan. We have expansion plans for Boston and Miami, but we're also looking in Brooklyn and Jersey City as well.
So when you say Manhattan, you're talking New York only, not the five boroughs, correct?
Right now, that's correct, yes. But we'll have expansion in uh, Brooklyn and Jersey very very quickly.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully you'll be in my area pretty soon, and then we'll talk then. So since March and September, I think you guys were closed, and then you reopened in September. How tough was that for you, for that time period?
Yeah. Well, the first 2 months were not that tough because I was probably one of those crazy people that thought that it was just going to pass very quickly.
Sure.
So I took it with kind of like a grain of salt and say, look, maybe for the next month and a half, we'll close down and we'll wait for the storm to pass. I'll spend more time with my family. It got really tough in July when we spoke to all our customers and realized that they were not coming back for the rest of 2020.
Mm.
We didn't have a business at the time outside of doing B2B.
Mm-hmm.
We had to discuss with our staff that couldn't stay with us for some of them. We had all those delivery people that were counting on us. One of the specific thing about our business is we employ our delivery team and our barista.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do the gig economy. So we had to find a plan for all those people that now wouldn't make any coffee for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one of those tough moments as an entrepreneur
Yeah.
to realize that your business is not going to be able to support yourself and the team that trusted you from the beginning. So it was July, August were pretty difficult months.
Pretty difficult. Yeah.
And this is where going back to basics. This is where you have to remember why you make that decision of becoming an entrepreneur. Why did you decide to take the risk, and how did you decide to approach the first problems
Mm.
um, and go back to the drawing board and figuring it out.
Yeah. So Vincent, let me ask you a question. So you have, let's say, a railroad track. Okay, I'm just giving you an example here, an
Okay.
analogy here. So in one track you got Dunkin' Donuts, you got Starbucks, you have other coffee people, right? And it
Yeah.
looks like you must have just come up with another track, which is Go Coffee. But there's a lot of competition with the other track.
Yeah.
How do you beat that? And is there, so what I'm getting at is your quality a little different versus the other two guys? There might be more other people there. I'm just mentioning
Oh,
the
completely.
two. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and those are obviously the two 800-pound gorillas, if not more, that you
Yeah.
want to go and look when you look at the coffee business. Uh, there's no there's no difference in quality. The idea for us is if somebody is used to drink Dunkin' coffee, when they're going to go and order a drink from us, they're going to find something extremely similar, if not tasting exactly the same. So we're not trying to fight the good fight with those giants based on quality. We're trying to offer a service that right now those companies cannot offer. So if you're a fan of Starbucks and you're a fan of Dunkin', your only option is to go to them today to get your coffee.
Mm.
Uh, some of those companies tested third-party deliveries,
Mm-hmm.
but you go back to our original point, which is if you want to get a coffee delivered in a to-go cups, you're going to get a cold coffee or cold cappuccino by the time it arrives to you.
Mm.
So we are really the only one that are focused into the delivery first
Mm-hmm.
in the space of coffee, trying to solve a different experience than those retail chain have been focusing on. That is our path. It's like if you would say, I like to describe it as like it's a very narrow track,
Mm.
but it's a track that has been growing more and more. People have been getting more and more used to the convenience of delivery versus experience of retail, having to go to a store. And for chains that are not necessarily as big as a Starbucks or Dunkin', you can imagine that the pandemic shifted a lot their directions.
Mm-hmm.
Areas where they had coffees in like very busy commercial areas
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of offices suddenly became the most empty and the less profitable stores.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have to figure out how they can touch, 10 people that used to come to the same store on 42nd and 6th in the city,
Mm-hmm.
and now one lives in Brooklyn, the other one lives in Jersey, the other one moved outside of the city.
Mm-hmm.
So how do those retail first company adjust to this new world is going to be a big challenge for them too.
Mm-hmm.
And we feel like for us having taken that road of delivery first, 2 years even before the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
give us a little advantage.
So Vincent, you have, I think you have gone to the science of delivery. So I think that is a no-brainer for you because you got that down packed. So now the question is the coffee itself.
Yep.
Are there different brands that you prefer, or what brand do you sponsor, or what brand do you give to the people?
Yeah. So our approach there is actually to let the people decide. I think I've heard too many times, and actually the brand that you are mentioning, they fight over saying that their coffee is better than the other. My big belief here is like just let the people decide. If you like a certain brand or a certain taste, this is what you should get. So for us, we made the effort. We actually now have a partnership with over 35 brands of coffee,
Mm-hmm.
so we can let people decide what people like. And if we don't have a brand that they like, we tell them here's something very similar. You should try it.
Mm.
And people usually react pretty well with recommendation as well. In my opinion, coffee is similar to wine, like it was a long time ago, where
Yeah.
I want to say in the past 10 years, people just started to move from I'm drinking red versus drinking white
Mm-hmm.
to I'm drinking a Cab versus a Pinot versus a Sauvignon Blanc. But now people are even getting into the space where, yes, I like the Pinot Noir, but I like the one from Washington State over the one from Napa.
Mm.
I think coffee is just starting to go to I like black coffee versus I like coffee with milk
Mm-hmm.
to I like beans, I like specific type of beans, sorry, or specific type of region. But there's still a lot of education is to be shared versus just saying my coffee is better than yours.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Taste is a very personal thing, and our big belief is delivery first, personalization second.
Yeah, but if you think about it, Vincent, it's a very big battle, right? Because a lot of people they favor one and they favor other, and coming to you is like dropping everything and come to you. You know that it is a big challenge, and
Completely.
yeah, it's a very big challenge. So, Vincent, do you have a favorite for you?
Personally, I'm somebody that is still exploring a lot, to be
Yeah,
quite honest.
yeah.
Lately, I've been drinking a lot of Bluestone Lane, which is
Mm,
one of our good partner
okay.
from Australia. But I'm always trying to taste different things. I used to be a big cappuccino drinker. Lately, I've been drinking a little bit more of a cold brew.
Mm,
One of our partners just brought us a new cold brew with chicorée in it, and I discovered it's like drinking like a syrup. I really like it.
mm,
So I'm trying to widen my reach. Believe it or not, 6 7 years ago is it's only when I started drinking coffee,
mm.
and I used to drink it with 5 pack of sugar, which made my wife and kids crazy.
Yeah,
So I'm still in the education process,
yeah.
so I can't say that I've narrowed down to like just one favorite.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I mean, coffee for me, coffee was just coffee, and then I just did instant coffee, and then when I moved over from coffee to a grounded coffee and a proper bean coffee,
Yeah.
I think the quality is definitely way different, and I'm still exploring new different ones. So it's a good thing that you advise that. So then I'll start taking a look at that and start purchasing that then.
Yeah.
So, do you have merchandises and all that stuff on your website? I think I saw cups and some ground beans also.
Yeah, one thing that we're expanding into is exactly what you said. We see our goal is always to focus on the first cup of coffee in the morning, but like you said, people drink it more than once.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we've done with our coffee partners is to also offer beans to be delivered with your cup of coffee.
Mm.
So you order a latte in the morning, but we can also bring you a bag of beans from that specific roaster, so you can try it at home, for your cup in the afternoon or something
Mm.
like that. So we're expanding into that. We also offer our cups to deliver because people are always looking for a solution on the go. And yes, we're looking into expanding into more like traditional merchandising uh, for our brand.
Yeah. So, roughly how many drivers do you have in New York? It seems like it's so much. Or did you just hijack Uber and have them ship out?
No, so one thing that it's very important to us is all of our delivery person, all of our team, just like our baristas, are actually W-2 employees.
Mm-hmm.
So they work for us for specific hours. Obviously, they don't work through the day because we primarily do in the morning. At the peak last year, we had 80 people on staff for the deliveries. Right now, we use up about 20 people.
Mm.
And it's important because, believe it or not, again, if you're a delivery company, your only connection with your customer is actually your delivery person.
Yeah.
And so for us, it's very important to make sure that we apply a specific training and etiquette for our delivery guys because they're the face of the company.
Yeah.
So we have 20 of them. We do everything on foot. We don't deliver using cars. We don't deliver using bicycle, primarily because I had this idea of this business when it was snowing 5 years ago in New York, and I was seeing those poor drivers on bikes risking their life for a
Yeah.
couple of deliveries, and I said this is not how logistics should work. So we plan all our production centers and all our operation based on a specific radius.
Mm-hmm.
So we limit ourselves to be only able to make and deliver the coffee no more than 20 minutes from where we have to go and deliver.
Mm. So Vincent, the time when you started, when did you start? What year did you start?
We started in January 2018.
2018. Okay, so 2018, forget about COVID.
Yep.
2018 and today.
Yep.
What have you learned in this short period of time?
A lot of things. The first thing is, as an entrepreneur, it's a good thing to build resilience.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to remember why you started. You're going to have to look at yourself many times
Hmm.
and remember why you made that choice. Two is the team is everything. Trust. Trust and create a circle around you of trust for people that you can be yourself with. Sometimes being just the face of the company, you have to be this cheerleader, this product person, this evangelist. When at the end of the day, you also want to be yourself and be able to like go and discuss honestly some of the challenges that are coming forward. So
Yeah.
having a couple of good friends around has been really key.
Mm.
And then the last thing that I've learned that I think is important, especially in this situation, is to, never stop.
Yeah.
Just keep walking. I always say, walking is just one step at a time.
Yeah.
It's can be very risky for entrepreneurs, and I think we've been sold about, those quick success, big dreams. But people forget that every startup started with a CEO building the chair of
Hmm.
his offices.
Hmm.
You don't read that in business books, but that's what is going to happen. So let's take every step at a time. There is no fast forward. It's just doing the hard work every day.
Hmm.
It will always pay out.
So, Vincent, do you call yourself a coffee company or a delivery company?
Yeah, we're definitely a delivery company. Coffee is the first thing that we're focusing on delivering, but our future is going to be way more than just coffee.
Okay, so I guess it'll be lunch or dinners or something like that, or it'll be something else.
Yeah, food is always the first thing that where people pair us with, because if you have a cup of coffee, why not getting something to eat with?
Eat with.
We're thinking again as a delivery company. The main advantage that we bring is we are very efficient last mile delivery.
Hmm.
We'll get access to, we're going to see the same people every day, and we're going to have deliveries already planned.
Hmm.
So a lot of companies that have to deliver a product to those people in those cities could leverage us and our network of delivery to deliver those household products, those items to our clients.
So, with this whole delivery and the coffee business, it's so ironic that I saw it on the website that now you have a new CEO.
That's
So,
correct.
that's just crazy, and it's just a coffee company and a delivery company. So it's hats off to you of how you started this whole process, and now you have a brand new person starting in this thing, and it seems like you're the founder, I guess, right? Or
Yes, yes. I was a solo founder, which I think is a great experience. But after a while, you also have to like look into what you're bringing to the picture
hmm,
and what does a company need.
hmm,
And dividing your efforts was something that I realized we had to do.
hmm,
Kumba had been actually with us as a salesperson, as a leader in the sales force for quite a while.
hmm,
And as we had to do the pivot from a B2B to a B2C
hmm,
company, expanding a little bit more, like you said, we now have to like fight with the big giants
hmm,
from a marketing perspective, from an experience perspective. Kumba is actually bringing that experience, and so she's going to be leading a lot of those efforts,
hmm.
while I can go and focus on areas on the product side, on the fundraising side. So it's a really good combination to have now started as a solo founder and now found a partner that can help us take the company to the next level.
Oh, cool. I wish I was part of that. Then I would have actually helped you out there. So so Vincent, I'm from the technology side. Okay, so let me just ask you a little question about a little
Sure.
technology point, even though that it's a coffee company. So every company has roughly 50 people, 60 people, right? So from the technology point of view,
Yep.
that's a lot of data that you're saving. So let's talk about from the data center point of view.
Sure.
So how much data are you saving each and every day? It's insane.
It's it's a lot of data. So the first, I actually also have a technology background. Um, you know, it's a lot of data. You're talking about 3,000-4,000 orders every day now on the coffee. So it's individual users, with their credit cards, with their preference in coffee. So we had to build a very strong infrastructure from a safety and privacy perspective.
Mm-hmm.
The data for me is, I think, extremely valuable.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about all those coffee companies, they would love to know what our users are ordering.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about, the preference that we have saved for all those users, this is a very valuable data. But I also think what is interesting for us is we've been using the data to optimize our productions. What I love about coffee is it's a ritual. So what we've seen is if you have somebody down for that ritual, if you know that that person is drinking their latte every morning at 8 from, let's say, Bluestone, you're going to get that same order every day for
Yeah.
8:30 from Monday to Sunday. And that from a production standpoint allows you to then optimize. You'll know before the day even starts that you'll have to go and produce that latte with an accuracy of 98%.
Because,
And that is very unique.
but Vincent, from a business point of view, you got all these products and you have these SKU numbers.
Yep.
From what you're explaining to me, even the customer itself is a SKU number, because you have to actually give them the same exact order each and every day, each and every time they order it. So
That's true.
That's just a lot of SKU datas. That's just a lot of barcodes everywhere.
It's actually, yeah, we've been using more and more QR code actually to go and track. I come from the data, the advertising background.
Yeah.
It's funny enough, my business before was based on cookies, which I know you're familiar with. Maybe your listeners not as much, but
yes,
it's those little breadcrumbs that you use to track people across the internet.
Yeah.
And so now I moved from cookies to coffee.
Oh,
but it's a similar ideas is, you have to leverage that massive amount of data,
yes,
trying to create prediction across all those cues,
yes,
and being able to show that, if you're able to show certain pattern, you'll be able to create efficiencies that most of the companies in the retail world cannot. If you look again at the way a retail store functions, there is so much uncertainty. You never know how many people are going to go and open that door and order that coffee or order that snack.
That's right.
With us, it's the opposite. I can tell you to, again, over 90% confidence every Monday how many coffees we're going to have to make and deliver, which is a very different approach to the business in, I guess, food and beverage, versus, a traditional retail strategy.
So Vincent, New York people, do you know what they're calling you? They're calling you, you have become the coffee hero for them throughout the, so it's like, it's amazing how you have started this whole thing, and I'm glad that you did this, and it looks like you're the savior of coffee. So any last words you have before you head out today?
Look, I think what I appreciate with your show is like it helps people put back things in perspective.
Yeah.
Even with those challenging times, go back to the basics, go back to like the reason why you started the company, why you're in this situation in your career, why you're like driving yourself to like, succeed. And the answer is in you. It's, it's not more than that. It's not more complicated. All the external factors, they're just external factors.
Yeah, Vincent.
Focus on yourself and you'll get there.
Yeah, Vincent, thank you so much for coming on my show, and even though that we're just talking about coffee and we're only talking about delivery, but if you look at it, it's a big science, but in a basic way, and people, they tend to forget that. So it's good that we brought this out and made this aware to people. There is services like these. So I thank you that you're on the show. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So guys, you have listened to Vincent today regarding Go Coffee. I'm going to call it Go Coffee. And it's just amazing how it is that he delivers to each and every person every morning, same thing over and over again. But if you really look at it, he's looking at the inconvenience of they stand in line every morning, every afternoon. So he's fixed that problem, hopefully. And he's going to go to different cities, as he said. Boston also is one of them. I'm not sure of the other ones, but we'll follow his work and we will see that. So guys, as always, there is a quote of the day, or I should say there is a statement. Humanity runs on coffee. That's what this whole episode is all about. So guys, thank you again for joining. As always, as at the end of the episode, everything in life goes back to basics, and that's what we did today, guys. Thanks again. See you next week. Enjoy your day and enjoy your coffee. See you next week. God bless. Next week's episode on Back to Basics.
You can see they're fairly shuffled, yes?
Yes.
Okay, let's do this. If I take about half the cards like this
Mm-hmm.
and do this, you can see them in here then get shuffled, yes? That's
Yeah.
real?
Yeah.
This is not like, sleight of hand or anything like that.
No.
Cards are really getting shuffled. You can hear them and see them.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you like, my friend, just go ahead and say stop for me.
Stop.
Perfect. Can you remember that card?
Yes.
Okay, full disclosure, I can see the card because it's on my monitor, so I know it's the Ace of Hearts. But here's the thing: if you said stop 1 or 2 or 3 cards earlier, you would have ended up on a different card altogether.
Yeah.
And if you said stop a little bit later, you would have ended up on one of these cards, but you ended up on, where is it? This guy over here, which is a little bit strange. Because of all the cards, you ended up with this one, which, if you notice, my table that's sitting over here the entire time matches your exact card, the Ace of Hearts. Craziness.
Now,
I know.
so guys, just keep in mind that me and Durgi did not plan this. We did not say that I was gonna get 8 of Hearts. I was planning something else, and wow, that's just amazing. So you must have come to my home from Canada and down here and figured that out and planned it out, didn't you? I think you did.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I am hiding in your attic right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just surprised at how my attic looks, Durgi. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. There's a new room in your house you're unaware of.
So Durgi, any other things that we have missed regarding musician and illusions or mental?